Have you ever felt that pressure to be accepted by everyone? That silent, relentless need to fit in, to be liked, to measure your worth by the approval of others? It's a feeling so many of us carry, sometimes without even realizing it, as we move through life, adjusting who we are just to avoid rejection or discomfort. But what if that constant need wasn't a necessity, but a burden we could let go of? Two great thinkers in psychology, Carl Jung and Alfred Adler, dedicated their work to exploring identity, belonging, and the inner forces that shape how we relate to the world. Jung believed in the power of individuation, the journey of becoming your most authentic self, while Adler focused on the deep human desire to belong and contribute meaningfully. Both recognized the tension between personal authenticity and social approval, and both encouraged a shift away from external validation and toward inner alignment. In this talk, we'll explore why the pursuit of universal acceptance often leads us further from who we truly are. We'll consider how this pursuit can be not only exhausting, but also isolating, and how true belonging begins when we stop trying to be everything to everyone. So let's begin with a simple but powerful question. What if you didn't need everyone's approval? What might change in your life if being true to yourself mattered more than being liked by all? The human need to belong. Alfred Adler, a pioneering psychologist, emphasized that the human need to belong is a fundamental driving force behind much of our behavior. According to Adler, social belonging isn't just a desire, but an essential psychological necessity. Humans are inherently social creatures who thrive on connection, acceptance, and feeling valued within groups, whether family, friends, or communities. This sense of belonging contributes significantly to our survival and psychological well-being. When people feel accepted, they experience increased self-esteem, reduced anxiety, and a greater sense of purpose. Acceptance by others provides a vital foundation for mental health, fostering feelings of security and stability. In contrast, social rejection or isolation can lead to distress, depression, and even physical health issues. Thus, the need to belong is deeply rooted in our biology and psyche. However, while the desire to belong is natural and important, it can become dangerous when it pushes individuals to sacrifice their authenticity. The drive to be accepted sometimes leads people to suppress their true thoughts, feelings, or values in order to fit in. This sacrifice of authenticity can cause inner conflict, loss of self-respect, and ultimately, psychological harm. Belonging, when it demands conformity at the cost of one's identity, shifts from a healthy connection to a harmful trap. This tension plays out in many everyday situations. In the workplace, for example, employees may hide their opinions or creative ideas to avoid conflict or rejection. On social media, users often curate idealized versions of themselves, seeking likes and approval, but losing touch with their genuine selves. Within families, individuals might conform to expectations or traditions even when these clash with their personal beliefs to maintain harmony and acceptance. Thus, the powerful human need to belong, while essential, can morph into a trap when it encourages conformity over authenticity. Carl Jung's persona. The social mask. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, introduced the concept of the persona as a crucial element in understanding human psychology. The persona, derived from the Latin word for mask, represents the social face or role that an individual presents to the outside world. It is the image we adopt to meet societal expectations, conform to cultural norms, and navigate everyday interactions. Just as an actor wears a mask to play a character, the persona is the mask we wear to function in social life. The persona serves an essential purpose. It helps us blend into social settings, communicate effectively, and build relationships. By adopting behaviors and attitudes acceptable to society, the persona protects us from judgment, rejection, and conflict. For example, in a professional environment, one might adopt a persona of confidence and competence, even if internally they feel uncertain or anxious. On social media, people carefully curate profiles that highlight their best traits, presenting an idealized version of themselves to gain approval and connection. This social mask facilitates smooth interactions and helps maintain social harmony. However, while the persona is useful, problems arise when it becomes too rigid or overused. Over-identification with the persona can lead to a disconnection from one's true self, the deeper feelings, desires, and individuality that lie beneath the mask. The authentic self can be suppressed in favor of maintaining a polished social image, causing inner conflict and emotional strain. This tension between the persona and the authentic self often manifests as a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction, as people feel they are playing a role rather than living genuinely. Consider the contrast between public behavior and private feelings. Someone might appear cheerful and sociable at a party, but internally struggle with loneliness or anxiety. On social media, individuals often showcase highlight reels of their lives, masking insecurities or struggles behind filtered photos and upbeat posts. This dissonance between the public mask and private reality can lead to confusion about one's identity, as the lines between who they truly are and who they portray become blurred. The psychological cost of living behind a heavy persona can be significant. Emotional exhaustion is common, as constantly managing a social mask requires energy and vigilance. Identity confusion may also arise, making it difficult to distinguish genuine desires from imposed roles. In extreme cases, the persona may crack under pressure when the mask slips and the authentic self is suddenly revealed. This moment can be both frightening and liberating. On one hand, exposure risks vulnerability and judgment. On the other, it opens the door to self-acceptance and deeper connections. Jung warned about the dangers of allowing the persona to dominate the psyche, emphasizing the need to balance social roles with authentic self-expression. When the mask becomes too heavy to carry, individuals face a crisis that demands reconciliation between the persona and the true self, a journey toward psychological wholeness. The trap of seeking universal acceptance. In today's hyper-connected world, the desire to be universally accepted often feels like an invisible chain, tightening with every swipe, like, or comment. The exhausting cycle of trying to please everyone is a relentless treadmill that many find themselves trapped on, fueled by social expectations, cultural norms, and the amplified pressures of social media. It's as if we're all actors in a never-ending play, desperately performing roles designed to gain approval, yet increasingly losing sight of our true selves. The trap begins subtly. A compliment here, a nod of approval there. These fleeting moments feel rewarding, encouraging us to keep molding our behavior and appearance to fit an ever-shifting ideal. Social media, with its endless highlight reels and filtered realities, magnifies this pressure. Suddenly, it's not enough to be ourselves. We must be likable, popular, or trendy. The quest to garner likes and followers becomes a measure of worth, a silent mandate to conform. But the more we chase external validation, the less stable our sense of self becomes. This cycle breeds anxiety and insecurity. When acceptance is conditional, rooted in others' fleeting opinions, it breeds a gnawing fear of rejection and failure. We become hyper-aware of every word, every action, trying to anticipate and appease everyone's expectations. In this state, the emptiness grows because pleasing others is a hollow substitute for genuine connection. The more we sacrifice our authenticity, the more isolated and unseen we feel. There's a tragic paradox at play here. In the desperate effort to be liked by all, we often lose ourselves entirely. Have you ever stopped to ask, is it even possible to be loved by everyone? And if so, at what cost? When you tailor your identity to fit every expectation, your unique voice and values get muffled. The very thing that could endear you to others, your true self, is buried beneath layers of performance and pretense. Real-life stories abound. Consider the young professional who constantly adjusts their opinions to fit in with colleagues but ends each day feeling more alienated. Or the teenager who curates a flawless online persona, hiding insecurities behind perfectly posed photos. These are not isolated cases. They're reflections of a widespread struggle to find belonging without losing identity. Yet, amid this trap, there is hope. Breaking free begins with the difficult but liberating choice to embrace imperfection and authenticity. It means asking, what do I truly value? Who am I beneath the expectations? While the journey is challenging, stepping off the treadmill of universal approval can lead to deeper connections, rooted not in fear, but in honesty. The possibility of freedom lies in reclaiming your narrative and finding acceptance first within yourself, rather than in the impossible goal of pleasing all. Embracing authenticity. Authenticity, in practical terms, means being true to yourself regardless of external pressures or expectations. It's about embracing your thoughts, feelings, and values without compromise, even when doing so feels uncomfortable or unpopular. This genuine self-expression is not about perfection or pleasing others, but about honoring your inner truth and living in alignment with who you really are. Both Carl Jung and Alfred Adler, two foundational figures in psychology, deeply valued the concept of authenticity, emphasizing self-acceptance and integrity. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming one's true self, required acknowledging and integrating all parts of the psyche, including shadow aspects often hidden from conscious awareness. Authenticity, in his view, meant embracing the whole self rather than conforming to societal roles. Similarly, Adler stressed the importance of striving for a sense of belonging through social interest, but always encouraged individuals to develop confidence through self-acceptance. For Adler, true courage was standing firm in one's unique style of life while contributing to the community. Both thinkers underscored that authenticity fosters psychological health by nurturing integrity and a sense of wholeness. However, embodying authenticity takes real courage. It involves showing vulnerabilities and expressing true opinions, even when there's a risk of judgment or rejection. Vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness, but it actually signals strength, a willingness to be seen as you are, imperfections and all. Speaking honestly in relationships, workplaces, and social settings can be intimidating, yet it is through this openness that deeper connections and trust are built. The benefits of living authentically are profound. When you align with your true self, relationships become stronger because they are based on honesty rather than pretense. Inner peace replaces the exhaustion that comes from hiding or pretending. Moreover, decision-making becomes clearer as choices align with your core values instead of external pressures or fears. Authenticity empowers you to navigate life with confidence and resilience. To cultivate authenticity, small but intentional steps can be taken daily. Begin with self-reflection. Regularly check in with your feelings and motivations to understand what truly matters to you. Practice setting boundaries by respectfully communicating your limits and needs, which protects your integrity and self-respect. Journaling, meditation, or conversations with trusted friends can support this reflective process. Common fears often stand in the way of authenticity, particularly the fear of rejection or conflict. Many worry that being honest will alienate others or cause uncomfortable disputes. Overcoming these fears involves reframing them. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth, but a natural part of life. And conflict, when handled respectfully, can lead to growth and clarity. Building courage to face these fears often grows through small acts of authenticity, reinforcing that your true self is worthy of respect and belonging. In embracing authenticity, you embark on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It is an ongoing process that deepens your relationship with yourself and others, inviting a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Redefining success and validation. In today's world, success is often narrowly defined by external markers, wealth, social status, and the approval of others through likes or recognition. These conventional measures, while visible and tangible, can trap individuals in a perpetual cycle of seeking validation from outside themselves. This reliance on external approval not only undermines authentic self-worth, but also fosters insecurity and dissatisfaction, as the standards are constantly shifting and often unattainable. Alfred Adler, a pioneering psychologist, offers a refreshing perspective that shifts the focus from status to social interest and meaningful contribution. According to Adler, true success arises not from how much one dominates or stands out above others, but from the degree to which one cooperates, contributes, and feels connected within a community. This emphasis on social interest encourages individuals to find purpose in helping others and engaging constructively with society, rather than competing for superficial accolades. Central to this redefinition of success is the cultivation of internal validation, recognizing one's inherent worth independent of external opinions. Internal validation empowers individuals to trust their own values, efforts, and progress, rather than constantly seeking approval or fearing rejection. When people learn to validate themselves from within, they develop a resilient and stable sense of self-esteem that is less vulnerable to the fluctuations of external praise or criticism. This shift in perspective naturally leads to healthier self-esteem and motivation. Instead of being driven by fear of failure or a need to impress, individuals become motivated by personal growth, fulfillment, and genuine engagement. They measure success by their authenticity, the peace they experience in their lives, and the quality of their relationships, dimensions far richer and more sustaining than mere status or wealth. For example, someone may feel successful because they live authentically, aligning their actions with their true values rather than conforming to societal expectations. Others might define success by their ability to maintain peaceful mental states despite life's challenges, or by cultivating deep, meaningful connections that bring joy and support. These alternative measures honor the whole person, fostering well-being and a lasting sense of achievement. In redefining success through internal validation and contribution, we open the door to a more compassionate, fulfilling, and enduring sense of accomplishment. Building resilience to rejection. Accepting that not everyone will like or accept you is a vital step toward emotional well-being, and it's completely okay. Human connections are complex, and it's impossible to please everyone because people have different values, preferences, and experiences. Understanding this helps shift the focus from seeking universal approval to cultivating genuine relationships that honor your true self. It's important to distinguish between constructive criticism and meaningless judgment. Constructive criticism is offered with the intent to help you grow. It is specific, actionable, and respectful. Meaningless judgment, on the other hand, is often vague, harsh, or dismissive, serving more to diminish than to support. Learning to filter feedback in this way allows you to take in what can help you improve while discarding what only weighs you down. Developing emotional resilience means building strategies for handling disapproval without losing yourself. This includes practicing mindfulness to observe your feelings without immediate reaction, reframing rejection as an opportunity for growth, and seeking support from trusted people who reinforce your value. Journaling your thoughts and emotions can also clarify your perspective and help process difficult experiences. Resilience does more than just protect you from hurt. It strengthens your authenticity and overall well-being. When you bounce back from rejection with greater ease, you become more comfortable embracing who you really are, rather than molding yourself to fit others' expectations. This authenticity fosters deeper self-confidence and attracts healthier, more meaningful connections. Central to this process is self-compassion and maintaining realistic expectations. Treat yourself with kindness, recognizing that everyone experiences rejection at times. Avoid perfectionism and understand that setbacks are part of life's journey. By nurturing a gentle inner dialogue and accepting that rejection is natural rather than a reflection of your worth, you cultivate resilience that sustains your emotional health and enriches your personal growth. The human need to belong is powerful and deeply rooted in our nature. We all crave connection and acceptance, which often leads us to adopt personas that we believe will help us fit in. However, over-identifying with these constructed identities can be limiting and even harmful, trapping us in a cycle of pleasing others at the expense of our true selves. True freedom lies in embracing authenticity, living in a way that reflects who we really are, rather than who we think we should be. Remember, you don't need to be accepted by everyone to be whole. Your true self, with all its unique quirks and qualities, is enough. Authenticity opens the door to genuine relationships and a more fulfilling life. It empowers you to move forward with confidence, knowing that your worth isn't dependent on external validation. So, take a moment to reflect. How can you start embracing your authentic self today? What small steps might you take to show up more honestly in your relationships and your daily life? Every act of self-acceptance is a powerful step toward freedom and fulfillment. In embracing who you truly are, you unlock a life of possibility and joy. Your authenticity is not just your strength, it's your gift to the world. And that is something to celebrate with hope and pride.